The past 3 months have flown by, and the Trackmania Summer 2022 campaign is nearing its end. All the way back in July, I started uploading almost daily Trackmania videos, and I started off by doing a playthrough of the summer campaign. Now that it's almost time for the next season, I want to see how much I improved over the last 3 months. So I put together clips of the best times I have from those early videos, and we're going to show them side by side with the best times I can get now. I stuck with the same 10-minute time limit I gave myself per track on the old videos, so it'll be a fair comparison. Let's get started. Starting off with track number 1, there's not going to be a huge difference in some of these early tracks, but as you can see here, after this jump here, I'll take a much better outside line on the dirt to get a little more speed, and then get a nice bounce here to get better contact faster on the asphalt, and get to the finish a little bit quicker. The new me improved on this one by about 0.4 seconds. Moving on to track 2, this one is basically all plastic here. I will have much better lines through this one, just taking way further inside on a lot of these, and then as well here on this jump, take a much better line there and straighten it out much quicker, and then a lower jump there to get early ground contact and get to the finish. Saved about a full second on this one. Spent a lot of time grinding this one, so yeah, very great time here. On track number 3 here, we did get a little bit better time, but not a lot of margin for improvement on this one. Pretty straightforward, lots of dirt on this one, and the loop obviously. Could take a little bit better line here at the start, and then a good jump here to get early ground contact, but only going to save about a quarter second on this one. Again, not a ton of time to really save here, and I just wasn't the greatest at this track either, but still an improvement nonetheless. Onto track number 4, there'll be a pretty nice improvement on this one as well. Just take better lines throughout, especially this corner coming up right here where you have to drift this. Really couldn't drift before, so I just made the grass do it for me. But and then right here, big improvement because I hit both of these turbos, and I did not do that before. So we got a very excellent time on this one, not beating my PB, but we will save nearly a full second here with the 0.9 improvement, so very nice there. Track number 5 will have a nice improvement as well, but that'll come very late. As we see here in the beginning, basically nearly identical lines. Grass, I now know that you can wiggle, so I got a little bit extra time there, but still very close to my old time up until this corner here is really where I take away. Land much earlier, you know, just get all the more speed through that one turn and carry it to the end. This run here only netted me about 0.7 seconds, but my PB was 0.9 seconds ahead. So a nice improvement on this one. Track number 6 will be another nice improvement. Similar starts again here, but I will start to take away once we get a couple of drifts involved. Really, that's going to be a huge thing on a lot of these tracks, is me learning how to drift. But there you can see I take left and maintain more ground contact, which gives me a little bit more acceleration, and that drift through that turn is really where I gain a lot of extra time on my old self. Another decent turn here with a pretty far outside line, but I did a pretty nice outside line on my old one as well, but just much more speed and much more time ahead on this one. Gained about 0.9 seconds on this one too, so very common theme right now. Onto track 7. This one we'll see near identical starts. There's really not much else that I could do differently at the start, I felt, so very close up until a later turn. We'll get this engine off section, and I take a maybe slightly better line through that, but really it comes right here where I'm much more confident to take an inside line and maintain more speed through this and get to the finish slightly faster. Not going to save a ton of time on this one, obviously, but gonna get about 0.4 seconds. Track number 8 is a bit of a crapshoot. We'll have a big improvement here, but this is a bit of a meme track, so yeah, just try to get through as clean as possible. There's really not much else to say about this one. Has some decent lines, still a bit of bouncing around, but on my old one, kind of just all over the place. I took the metal when I got it, just because I didn't really care to play it anymore. So yeah, gonna save a significant amount of time on that one. Believe it is about a little over 2 seconds there, so pretty nice. Track number 9 is pretty interesting here, all plastic. You can see right here I will maintain ground contacts for the most part over that hump, which gave me significantly more speed over my old self, and then really just more ability and more confidence to take more lines closer to the edges on a lot of these turns here. And again here, maintaining ground contact over that edge, and yeah, just piles into more and more speed. And then right here at the jump, just a much cleaner and better angled landing. And then yeah, straight to the finish. Gonna get a decent amount of time on this one, about 2 seconds yet again. So yeah, pretty big improvement there. Track number 10 had a little bit of everything, every type of block here, starting off on the sausage, then asphalt, dirt, grass, got, yeah, everything. But yeah, just slightly ahead for the most part of this, but really not a huge difference on what I did in the beginning. Really comes down to this jump here and how I landed much earlier with this slight little angle here that I got. That's where I gained most of my time on my old self, as pretty much everything else is nearly identical. But really not going to save a ton of time here. I think I only got about 0.4 seconds on this one, so still a bit of an improvement, but not a ton. Track number 11, probably not my favorite, probably even my least favorite of the entire campaign. Just did not care for the lines or anything on this track at all. And we'll sneak out a new time, but it's really not going to be by a whole lot. Yeah, just really didn't care for this track at all. Slightly ahead here, get up here clean still. Really the majority of my improvement will probably come from this turn right here, where I can drift a little better, but still my old self didn't take it too bad even with not drifting. But yes, not the greatest improvement if you hear for how long the track is, but only going to save about 0.4 seconds on this one. Track number 12 is going to have a pretty significant time save. This one is mostly grass with a little bit of asphalt or tarmac, whatever you want to call it, in between some spots. Right here is a big time save because I just don't take as an aggressive turn through that checkpoint, which gains me a lot of speed to hold throughout the rest of the track. A little bit better line inside on that tarmac, and then really just cleaner lines throughout the rest. Right here especially, actually, you know, that wasn't that great, but still far ahead. And yeah, easy new time on this one. Did not have the greatest time before. And I believe on this one we are going to save about 1.5 seconds, so probably the biggest improvement thus far. Track number 13 is an interesting one here with some dirt, some water. Didn't care for this one much either. Probably my second least favorite track. So 2 of my least favorite tracks in the blue section here. But it's honestly crazy to me looking back at this one and how close my ghosts are to each other throughout this entire thing. The only difference is the late water section, but everything else, I mean, just looking at them side by side, you can pause it yourself. They look nearly identical throughout the whole thing. But really here is the big time saver. Just get into the water a little bit faster with a little more speed, and that carries out to the end. But yeah, this one's pretty insane on how close it was until that point. Only going to save about 0.3 seconds on this one as well, so not the biggest time save, but a time save nonetheless. Track number 14 is the first ice we are seeing here. I used to hate ice so much. I did not care for ice, never wanted to play it, never wanted to practice it. I did not care for ice at all. I've kind of turned around that. I like ice a fair bit now, so I can get way better times compared to my old self, but ice was pretty foreign to me then, so it's not great times at all. Gonna get a significant improvement here, just like on every other ice track. But as you can see, just clean lines through most of these bobsleds. And it's just going to gain me a ton of extra time. Just very sloppy over there on my old self. And going to beat us by quite a significant margin here. What do we got? We got nearly 4 seconds, so big improvement there. And our final blue track here on number 15. Going to be a decent time save on this one as well, and right off the bat here, going to have a much better line through this turn and over this jump to get a cleanish landing on the other side compared to my old self. Obviously, that'll get us more speed through everything else. Good wall ride there from new me, and then good speed down the ramp with the booster. Then just clean line through everything else, got airtime on the old me there. And yeah, just cleaner turns and everything throughout the rest of the track. And the time save on this one is going to be a little over a second, so a nice improvement there. On to the first red track on number 16. This is going to be a full speed one. Going to get a nice time save here. Pretty similar lines throughout the beginning, so not a huge difference there. We do take this loop a bit cleaner, so we're able to exit a lot faster, and then a better line through the dirt to land early and continue gaining that speed. Then after this loop here is where we're going to get a bigger time save. It's much cleaner through that. The new me didn't go as far into that little valley. And then a better line through this section here on the dirt. Went to the right much faster, and then a big speed slide there out of my new time to gain a ton extra speed. And then we'll get a little bit better ending here up these boosters to save a little bit extra time. So yeah, we saved about 1.3 seconds here on this track. On to track 17. This one is pretty much all dirt, besides the last little section. Pretty similar starts, though my new me is slightly ahead, and it'll continue to pull ahead further and further as I take more risky lines. Like there, I took the leftmost part, and here I'll take the rightermost part to reduce the air time, so that really builds a little bit more acceleration time. But still, my old self isn't too far behind, and honestly, I think my old self didn't do too bad on this beginning section. But here is where the speed really picks up and the time improves through this section right here. More confident in holding more gas. I went very slow through here on my old time, which cost me quite a bit. But we're going to save about a whole second on this one. Track number 18 is yet another Ice 1 second one we got here. So obviously there's going to be a significant time save on this one. As you'll see, we pull very far ahead, even through the second checkpoint. But yeah, just way more confident in going sideways and drifting this entire thing here. But before, I was just going straight ahead. And then this drift here on the right, get the reactor boost, drift that corner. That's where you get the majority of the speed. 1.2 seconds already ahead there. Kind of disappointed in the new me on how I performed on this one. Couple screw ups, including the last corner. And I'm going to hit both of these snows. That slow us down significantly. But look at old me just hitting the snow, and we're actually going to hit both on there too. And then not the greatest turn here at the end either, but we're going to pull it off. Get a nice little time here. Old me still trucking along, going to the last one. And we lost our gear there, almost slipped off the edge, and finally get to the finish at 57 seconds. So we are going to save 9 seconds on this track. Very huge improvement. It's going to be like that for most of the ice tracks. And on to track 19. Here we got a little bit more water with some boost here at the start. Be fairly similar times throughout the little bit of the beginning here. Pretty similar lines through that turn, and then we're going to hit these checkpoints and similar turns through this little wall ride-ish section. But then I get up much earlier on the new me, so it gets a little more time. Without action key here, I pulled off that turn miraculously. First time well, I wouldn't say the first time I ever did. I did a couple times before this and blew the run. But yeah, nice turn there from the new me. But at the end, I kind of shit the bed, honestly. Terrible turns here. I ended up getting a PB, but it was not as good as it could have been. and but still significantly faster than the old me. We saved quite a bit of time here, nearly 4 seconds. And on to the last red track number 20. Struggled a bit on this one due to like some performance issues. I don't know what it was, but just could not get a clean run through this one because the game kept lagging. So I ended up restarting the game a few times. Finally got it good to go and got a good time down. At least a better time than what I previously had. As you can see here, we'll get off this wall ride way faster. The old me was on that wall ride for so long. And then a big improvement here on this drift from the new me. The old me can't hardly drift at all, so very slow through that. And a little bit more drifting action there. And held a lot more speed through the rest of this little bit portion here through the grass wall ride, and nearly missed the finish on the new me, and nearly missed the finish on the old me. So common theme there for both my old and new self. But big time save here with a little over 2 seconds. Onto the black tracks here, starting with track number 21, maybe the hardest of the entire campaign. I still yet to have an author on this one, but obviously we're going to have a huge time save on all the black tracks. But yeah, mainly due to drifting, like this corner right here, I drift on the new me, couldn't even do it on the old me, just take a very slow turn, even hit a ton of grass, so even slower. Barely make this jump out the old me, and the new me is just pulling way far ahead. Another drift here, which doubt I did it on the old one. Actually, I did do it on the old one. It was okay. Pretty slow. But yeah, new me way ahead here. Didn't get the best turn right there. I got the air time, so I'm going to bonk on that little edge on the new one. But I just took what I could get. Big bonk on the old me too there as well, so that time killer. I think the old me also maybe bonked the end walls to lose even more time. Yep, there it is. But yeah, gonna save a big amount of time here. Looks like it's going to be about 7.5 seconds. And on to track 22 is going to be maybe, I think, the biggest time save we have out of the entire thing here. Yeah, just did not perform very well in this one. It was pretty damn difficult for me. Got a little bit better time, obviously, now. So, that's nice. If I was as bad as I used to be on this one, I'd probably quit Trackmania. But yeah, gonna get a big time save here with the boost, just better line through everything, just hitting everything on the old me. And really later on is really where we're gonna save a huge amount of time. I had lots of resets on my initial attempts, so we're gonna be pulling way ahead. But I wasn't doing too bad up until that point on the old me. New me getting this jump here first try was huge, but now we're gonna see my old self really struggle. Could not make this jump for the life of me. Had to slow down super early and get the booster in order to make this, but even then I messed that up. Have to do it again. And we're finally gonna make the jump here. Yeah, old me really struggled here, just hitting everything in the world. But here we are, finally getting the last jump to the end. Even a double front flip for good measure. Finishing with a 127. So we're going to save about 23 seconds on track 22. On to track 23, the final ice track. Honestly, my favorite ice track from the campaign. And honestly, it's what made me kind of like ice. I didn't do too bad on it on my original run. I got that nice bonk, which sent me straight forward, which was pretty nice. But yeah, my new me is just so much better though. Every single turn, way better, much more sideways, much more consistent on a lot of these turns. Didn't end up getting a PB on my new run because I grinded this track quite a bit, so in that 10-minute time limit, just could not get a new PB on this one. But here we are into the bobsled, which really took all my time away. I was actually pretty far ahead of my PB and destroyed myself there. Yeah, new me is not too far above the old me right there, but this is where it's going to take a head. Terrible turn by the old me. But yeah, I'm going to save a little bit of time on this one. Not as much as you would think, but it's going to be about 4 seconds, so not too bad. And on to track 24, we got basically a full speed one here with dirt full speed with a lot of different blocks and stuff like turbos and no steer, cruise control maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff on this one. But I credit me going through the surfaceless campaign recently on how much success I had on this one. It only took me a few attempts to get as good as a run as I did. But yeah, old me didn't do too bad on this one either. You know, I come from basically playing a lot of full speed, so this one wasn't terrible for me. It was a little bit odd because it was dirt, and I don't really play dirt full speed, but some of the mechanics and muscle memory are still kind of there. So I didn't do too terrible on the old one. But still going to save a little bit of time anyway, but not as much, again, as you would think, like the last one. Still going here, just finally finish on the new me and finish on the old me. But really, yeah, not much time between them, only going to be about 2 seconds saved. So, yeah. Not the best, not the worst, still a time save. And on to track 25, the final track of the campaign. I didn't mind this track too much, even back then. I think it's one of the better black tracks, maybe even one of the better tracks of the entire campaign. We're going to save quite a bit of time on this one, although maybe not as much as you would think as you watch here early on, as we're pretty close to each other in terms of time. But here's where the first little bit of time save is going to come from, just a little bit better turn out of that. And then the second biggest time save is going to be this drift here. But still, it's not the biggest improvement in the world. But you'll see later on here where I get the time save. Really, I did terrible in that plastic on the old me. But I feel like I came through with a bit more speed, and it's going to actually catch up a tiny bit. Or not, because I crashed into the wall. That is where all the time save is going to come from, basically. There should probably be a little bit more time save here on this turn coming up on this black section for the new me. Just being able to drift that, take a much better line through it. It's going to be a big time save. Got a PB there, but still not an author. Old me actually crosses that gap pretty well and gets to the end. So we're going to save about 9.5 seconds on this one. But really, my old me didn't do too terrible on it. So there it is, old me versus new me. I think it's pretty obvious that I've gotten a fair bit better at Trackmania, but how much better? Well, in terms of time, old me finished all the tracks with a time of about 1,046 seconds, and the new me finished in about 969 seconds. So that comes out to about roughly 8.5% improvement. Now that can be a bit skewed because of the significant time save on some levels, but there's also some very short tracks with little improvement possible, so I think it evens out over time. 8.5% means about 4.5 seconds on a minute-long track, so that seems fair to me. Tell me what you think in the comments. I had a great time in my first season of Trackmania, and I hope you had fun this season as well. Thanks for all the continued support over the last 3 months of videos. I hope to keep improving my content and trying to make more unique and interesting videos. If you have anything related to Trackmania that you'd like to see, feel free to comment down below, and I'll consider doing it. If you enjoyed, also consider liking the video and subscribing so you can see all future Trackmania content that I make. Also, be sure to check out all the other Trackmania videos I've done. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching.